Welcome back to the Martingale Emerging Media Minute or Two. This week, we are going to be talking about data collection and analysis on social media and really be getting into the nitty-gritty about why it is important to study social media as well as what the limitations are. The formation of public opinion has changed a lot over the last 100 years, and especially the last 20 years or so with the influx of social media. Now, social media allows people to spread their opinions and hold communication online with people in their neighborhood, in their city, as well as in their country or in other countries. And so it is really important for scholars to study social media because it can allow us to understand what is popular, what is happening in politics, culture, society, what people think about different topics. The social media platforms that we're going to be focusing on are Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. An article by Bainati et al. Called From Archive Cultures to Ephemeral Content and Back, Studying Instagram Stories with Digital Methods, talks about how they scraped stories on Instagram in archived content in order to study them and study for different themes and things like that. However, a major flaw with this study that I don't think was addressed enough was the fact that they weren't really studying stories, they were studying archived. So when you go on Instagram, you can save stories more permanently because they only exist for 24 hours originally. However, these are even further cultivated. So I have a story on my Instagram from my undergrad experience, my postgrad experience, and then I think I have one about music. However, let's take the music one, for example. It does not have every piece of music I've ever posted on my Instagram story. My undergrad videos are not everything that I posted while at the University of Virginia. It's very cultivated pieces that I remember and enjoy and wanted to include from in my archive that people could all see. So if you are fine with studying archives, then this is still very beneficial. However, it needs to be, I think, framed in a different way, or at least stated a different way, to not make it seem as though you're studying Instagram stories. Twitter is often the most studied social media platform because it can be the easiest. There are not as many videos or photos, while Instagram and TikTok are basically video and photo dependent. And Twitter has a lot more text. Text is just simply easier to study and collect data on. However, when people do content analysis of Twitter, there are multiple limitations. For example, many tweets can be blocked or removed from the platform if they violate community guidelines. Now, when you're studying something such as an election or COVID, Twitter started removing things if they were misinformation. And so it's hard to really pull public opinion when the opinions from people who think that COVID's not real or something like that are being taken off the platform. The data set may not be as representative as it should be. Another issue is that when people do content analysis and pull keywords, such as in the article by Viviani, they're not necessarily taking all of the context around the tweet. So for example, if someone says, "I do not think anyone has actually been hospitalized for COVID," they might pull the word hospitalized and insinuate that that shows a fear of illness or something like that, when really the context was someone saying, "I don't believe in hospitalization." The last platform I'm going to talk about is the newest one and maybe the most complicated to study, and that is TikTok. One issue with TikTok is that it seems to have its own language and own style that is way different from the other platforms. For example, in class we've talked about how people will say unalive instead of killed, or the word suicide, because those videos tend to be taken off the platform, versus unalive gets around that barrier. A study by Iona Literate from Columbia University studied how people talked about online schooling during COVID-19. Through a thematic analysis, Literate studied over 1,000 videos using the hashtag online school to see what people's opinions were about being on Zoom or other platforms for educational purposes. Now, there were a lot of videos that had to do with different aesthetic setups, or there were also videos that had to do with how to cheat during online school, as well as a lot of different other videos. This is really helpful because it can show how people are actually reacting to the situation of online schooling during COVID-19. However, a major issue I see with studying TikTok is that you need to fully understand people's sense of humor or when people are being serious or not. If my mom did a thematic analysis of TikTok, and yes, she has an account, so she's aware of the app, it would not look the same as mine. She doesn't know the trends as well as I do, and I don't know the trends as well as some other people I know. And so I think that there are a lot of opportunities to mess up a thematic analysis of TikTok. Overall, it is really important to study social media because it gives us the best representation of public opinion. Now, there are going to be limitations when people do content analysis, thematic analysis, things like that. However, it is worth it to try to get the best grasp of public opinion. My challenge for you this week is more of a fun one. Go on TikTok and look up the hashtag online school and see what kind of videos you are given from the platform. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into emerging media.